In a 10 daycare hole. One of the most interesting aspects of a free roam game is all the secret areas and Easter eggs you can hide, like the Portal 2 Easter egg hidden in Skyrim of all games. However, in FNAF it's much more than that, since each tiny Easter egg or detail can help us figure out what the hell has been going on in this series for the past 8 years, which makes the appearance of secret little cubby holes around the pizzaplex very interesting. Like the one for the Moondrop and Sunnydrop animatronic hidden behind the daycare center behind a Foxy poster unlocked by taking pictures of certain cardboard cutouts that are also actually on the poster, which makes me think, are there more areas that need to be unlocked like that, or something like that? I'm sure many have tried various things, but I don't know, it feels like there should be one for like the laser gun equivalent. In this little hole, however, you can find a mini game called Balloon Boy World, which we will talk about more later on. But also it contains a duffel bag with lore and the Golden Moon animatronic plush required from one of the achievements, so it's certainly somewhere that you'd want to go. You can also get the achievement for playing the Balloon Boy World minigame also. And at 9, Vanessa Therapy. Something I was unaware of until completing the game and getting Roxy's eyes were 16 retro CDs that can be found towards the end of the game. You have to actually have Roxy's eyes to see them though, because they don't spawn in unless you have the eyes. These can be played with a CD player hidden in a sister location secret room. The retro CDs require Roxanne's eye upgrade on Glamrock Freddy, and for the CDs to spawn in, Gregory has to be inside an upgraded Glamrock Freddy, be near the disc and like looking at where it would be, and then exiting to actually be able to collect it, otherwise it won't spawn in if you're looking away. The order in which the CDs are found does not seem to affect which recordings are unlocked, just the amount of CDs found, which is clearly a reference to the 16 tapes found in FNAF VR that weren't really found in a particular order. Collecting them just seemed to unlock them in sequence. However, these tapes seem to also contain therapy sessions between Vanessa and a therapist, as well as a therapist and another individual who goes unnamed, but could also be Gregory. We don't know because they never talk. And at 8, Fire Dave. One of the various lore duffel bags we can stumble upon in this game is a customer complaint titled Hi Dave, which upon inspection reads, quote, "Customer complaint. You should fire Dave, he sucks." And while it's short and sweet and to the point, it also is seemingly a reference to the FNAF novels, since if you're unaware, in the novels William Afton was introduced, but at first he was going by the alias Dave Miller. And considering how this customer says that we should fire Dave, I think that's a pretty telling way to reference the book's most infamous employee, and also reference the fact that Afton is in the pizzaplex right below our noses. This duffel bag can be found on the farthest left bench next to the lockers in customer service, which seems to indicate that Dave also worked in customer service. Just a horrible place for a serial killer to work, just saying. And at 7, Joy of Creation. The anticipation for the Fazbear Fanverse initiative is building now that Security Breach has released and we don't know anything about what's coming next in the main FNAF universe. However, there are actually references to some of the Fanverse games in Security Breach. For example, the Joy of Creation Easter eggs of Ignited Freddy and Ignited Bonnie found on the House of Bear and House of Bear 2 arcade cabinets found around the pizzaplex. This is something I actually picked up on my first time through, so needless to say, it's pretty damn cool that I was right about it. The House of Bear cabinet has Ignited Freddy silhouette standing in the doorway, and House of Bear 2's machine features Ignited Bonnie's face, which could be considered Withered Bonnie, but given the context of Ignited Freddy on the other one, I think it's safe to say that this is Ignited Bonnie. Plus, this can also explain how these games fit into the main timeline, since the Fanverse games could just be the games that Scott's in-universe counterpart made. It would also explain why they have their own FNAF 1 version titled FNAF Plus. And at 6, Freddy Mercury. Did you know that Freddy Fazbear in the opening cutscene to FNAF Security Breach is actually making a reference to Freddy Mercury? Yeah, neither did I. But thanks to some helpful YouTube commenters, not on these videos, on other videos, it was pointed out to me there. While on stage when showcasing his name, Freddy Fazbear strikes a similar pose to Freddy Mercury, which is kind of iconic and understandable given that both their names are Freddy. And I don't really want to see Freddy getting up on his toes, grabbing his crotch and yelling, "Ow!" in reference to Michael Jackson. Someone also ended up making an album cover for the glam rock band singing Bohemian Rhapsody, which is absolutely iconic and I love it. I kind of want to hear this now though. Like, why can't we have this instead of like Freddy telling Gregory that he needs to vent like a sussy baka? Like, why has that been going around? Like, Gregory, have you heard of Among Us, Gregory? You need to vent. I don't know. And why is my TikTok For You page filled with FNAF memes and FNAF related content all of a sudden, okay? It was like the one safe place I had. But now there's like glam rock Freddy filters and like sunny drop filters and Gregory being a sussy baka and like but Vanessa, I'm a material girl things. Like what the f, man, why? Halfway through into number 5, Gregory's missing. This is something I picked up on in the second ending I got in my playthrough, in what is commonly referred to as the worst ending, where you simply leave the pizzaplex by yourself without Freddy. The first ending I got is actually the Vanny ending, which to me is my canon ending. It's a different way to explain that. But in this ending, Gregory ends up running away and hiding in a cardboard box. This box is assumed by most to be his home since he doesn't really have one and can't really return to the pizzaplex. However, this is where this detail comes in. The newspaper he's using as a blanket has multiple silhouettes of the children who have gone missing this time around. 9 of them, this time to be exact. However, the one in the bottom left corner looks an awful lot like Gregory when he's standing in front of all those security monitors in the first Security Breach trailer. I'm just saying, especially when Vanessa says that he's been wiped from the system, and I'm pretty sure one of those lore bags also shows us that we've been wiped from the system as per someone's request. So that's certainly not a coincidence. And I doubt Scott used it and just thought, oh yeah, this is easy, let's do that. No, not a chance. There has to be something there. In at 4, Monty the Murderer. One of the biggest questions this game seems to have is where did Bonnie go? While with sister location, simply put, Funtime Chica was rented out, that's not really the case with Bonnie in Security Breach. We hear Freddy say that there isn't a bunny here anymore in a somber way as if he was killed, but by who is the bigger question. In the lore duffel bags, we can find various bits of evidence though that suggest Monty could be to blame, since after all he did end up replacing Bonnie as the new bass player after his accident. But was it really an accident? Let's look at what the bags say. Quote, the bowling alley needs a retheme. While most of the Bonnie art was removed, kids keep asking where's Bonnie? Do we have an officially approved response? Which makes it seem like Bonnie isn't simply out of commission. But we can get even more specific. Quote again, 12:24 a.m. Bonnie is seen leaving his green room in Rockstar Row headed east towards the atrium. 2:40 a.m. Bonnie enters the East Arcade. 4:12 a.m., Bonnie enters Monty Golf. And considering how that's where the log ends, we can be pretty certain that Bonnie ate the dust over at Monty Golf, which would make even more sense given that Monty replaced Bonnie, became more popular than Bonnie, and then was also the last place Bonnie was seen. Seems pretty sus to me. I mean, maybe Monty was the one who should have been venting. In at 3, pizza rumors. Again, found in one of the lore duffel bags, we get quite an interesting parallel between Fazbear Entertainment and Chuck E. Cheese. Found in a party room outside the Moondrop Daycare, we can find, quote, recycled pizza? Customer complaint. The pizza we ordered was weird. Some pieces were different sizes or didn't fit together. One slice even had different toppings. Did you recycle the old pizza from the trash? I am never coming back here unless I am given some form of major discount. Angry mom. End quote. And while they're also playing on the Karen tropes seemingly, this also has a larger reference to the conspiracy theory that Chuck E. Cheese was recycling their pizzas. It was talked about by everyone from Shane Dawson to Matt Pat, with Matt Pat seemingly proving the rumors false, since they ordered a pizza from Pascali's Pizza and from the actual Chuck E. Cheese, which are made in the same kitchen, and the pizzas from Chuck E. Cheese still looked janky as hell, when it's literally impossible to get recycled pizzas because of a pandemic. So, it's not true, but it's certainly an interesting Easter egg nonetheless. Penultimately, in at number 2, Arcade Conspiracy. The Arcade Conspiracy gets its name from one of the duffel bags that you can find, where we learn that something else seems to be going on here. Quote from this Arcade Conspiracy note, exit interview. They are working together, the arcades. They are hiding something, the glitches. Glitch them all at the same time, then the princess will recognize me. She's testing me. I am not yet worthy. The others are protecting it. Let me stay. I'm so close. Just one more night, please. I can save the princess. Now it's clear that this seems to be referencing the Princess Quest minigames, however it doesn't really seem like we have to glitch the Princess Quest games in order to win. We just have to beat them in orders from 1 to 3 and then boom we save Vanny. So what could the rest of this mean? Well, there are 3 other arcade machines that seem to be having mysterious glitches as well. The Balloon Boy World game that you can find in the theater and the secret area, Chica's Feeding Frenzy which won't turn off even when unplugged that you're supposed to be able to find in the bakery but that hasn't been added yet, and Monty Golf Arcade that according to its duffel bag shouldn't be in the mini golf area, but it is. So what's the deal here? What's going on with these games? And does it have anything to do with the Happiest Day minigame where we need to glitch out various minigames in order to unlock the good ending of FNAF 3? I don't know, but we won't be able to know until Chica's feeding frenzy is officially added into the game because they released Security Breach without it being complete. And finally, in number 1, Freddy and Friends. In the area where you end up forcing Chica to eat garbage in order for her to get crushed, you can find a secret door. A duffel bag will be hidden next to it, indicating that you need to take a picture of the wall to continue, and doing so results in a tiny door opening so that Freddy can't actually fit through, but you can. But the room it leads to is probably one of the most interesting things at all. A replica of the room that Mike watches The Immortal and the Restless in from Sister Location, even including the basket of exotic butters. If that wasn't bad enough, you can also see the Freddy and Friends cartoon on the TV, which explains why Steel Wool was posting them to begin with if they never intended on fully releasing the release date with them, since the security code on the wall was meant to be solved using these cartoons, which is why it's playing on the TV, so you associate that code with Freddy and Friends. But needless to say, it's certainly an interesting and pretty damn cool Easter egg, although it opens up a whole other can of worms if that's the case, since, you know, Glitch Trap was found in the final episode of that, and now this series exists in the FNAF world. I don't know, maybe I'll have to do more research on this, really, to see if there's more going on here than we realize. In a 10 simulated pizzeria. The pizzeria we see underground on our way to the canon ending of Security Breach is actually intended to be the simulated pizzeria we build in FNAF 6. This was hinted at multiple times throughout the game, but it's most clear thanks to the design of the restaurants, as well as, you know, the whole burn trap along with the other animatronics from FNAF 6, among others somehow being down there as well. But some other hints I'll be referencing later on this list. But something like this was actually theorized about ages ago. However, those theories were more so thinking that the Pizzaplex was just an expanded version of the simulated pizzeria that ended up doing the best. But this way, it ends up working out that every single person who played Pizzeria Simulator has their pizzeria burnt down and then built on top of. So the fire, while not serving any purpose in the end because everyone really survived, kind of does serve a purpose to unite everyone, so now we feel like we're a part of the story since we designed a location in the game. It's pretty clever, actually. And at 9, Unfinished. The game that we got actually was released unfinished for some reason, which explains all the glitches, but also the possibility that there is more going on here than we truly realize. See what I did there? Like how there's supposed to be a game in Chica's Bakery, however the game isn't playable unless you use a mod to gain access to it from the main menu, because there's actually no machine there. Other than that, you can't play it. But there are duffel bags that reveal that this game, along with Balloon Boy World and Monty's Gator Golf, have something odd going on with them, which to me seems like there's another ending or something that these were building to, or like perhaps glitching them all out would have done something else. But of course the game is unfinished, so we can't know for sure. As to when the game will be finished, unsure if it ever will be, actually, and the fact that it's unfinished could just be an excuse as to why it's so trashy. But it's currently unclear. We'll only know with time, unless someone from Steel Wool actively says that it's not gonna happen. And at 8, Security Level 8. Now, the highest security level that you can get access to is level 8. This requires you to do every one of the like little security room minigames. However, with level 8 being the highest you can actually achieve, it begs the question, why are there doors with level 10 security? Because if it's actually impossible to achieve, what's the point of giving them a security level at all? I mean, there are doors that are actively locked and do not open at all. Why not just make the doors that you would have made level 10 just unopenable? Seems more efficient. Like, I can think of 2 explanations for this that make sense. Firstly, they could be saving these areas for potential DLC that would add 2 more security passes, since if you end up no-clipping past these doors with the level 10, there's nothing behind them at all. Like, it's just, there's nothing. The second idea would be because having impossible to achieve security clearance suggests that there are people who are able to gain access to these sections instead of just blocking off everywhere we can't go, which is understandable from a world building perspective. However, now it leaves us with questions like this. And at 7, power-ups. Apparently, there are multiple different power-ups you can get throughout this game. Aside from upgrades for the flashlight and Freddy, including power upgrades for him, there is a hoodie that you can collect from the staff toilet in Chica's bakery that increases your stealth. There's a pair of running shoes that you can get from the beauty salon that increases your running speed, and the various Fizzy Faz cans actually somehow increase your stamina, which just seems fairly ridiculous, but also that's pretty cool. I guess that's why like the Fizzy Faz commercial sample text was actually in the game to tell you to drink Fizzy Faz. I didn't think that these would actually be able to help, and I don't know if you actually like need to actively drink it or if it does it automatically. I'm pretty sure it does it automatically, but hey, that's still pretty cool and something that I had no idea was in the game, so maybe you didn't either. And at 6, Possessed Freddy. Now, the idea that Freddy is possessed is an idea that it's been floating around for a while, and some assume that the one possessing him would be Michael, which does make sense. However, there are also hints that maybe this isn't the case at all, and that instead, it's Henry Emily. Do I think that this is actually the case? No, but it's still fun to talk about. Starting off with the fire that he sets on the rooftop ending if you leave through the prize counter. This ending has Freddy set the prize counter on fire, then the two of you escape to the roof. Now, we know that out of the 3 fires in this series, Henry was the one who set at least one of them, but probably closer to 2. He was the one who sets the FNAF 6 pizzeria on fire, and the FNAF 3 fire was also most likely set by Henry. Since in Ultimate Custom Night Orville Elephant claims he tried to release you, he tried to release us, in which us is most likely a reference to the FNAF 3 fire and the missing children, since this is the one that you should not have killed talking through Orville, so us could be referring to the missing children that are supposed to be released with the happiest day mini game and then set on fire. So Freddy's first idea being to set fire to the place may not be a coincidence. There's also the idea that Henry was in the Pizzaplex when it burned down, since he said that he was nearby, although that can't really be confirmed. I don't know though, just a thought. Halfway through into number 5, Client 46. The mystery of Security Breach's Client 46 is still one that plagues us even after the game has been torn to shreds. There is no mention of a name or any other names with Client 46, and whoever it is doesn't speak. The client does appear to be younger though, given the tonal shift between the therapists when talking to Vanessa compared to Client 46, which could be the reason that the tapes with Vanessa were included, to show that each therapist approaches 46 with a softer, kinder touch, as well as kind of just explaining her history to us, as if they were talking to a younger individual, or a child if you were, perhaps, that cries a lot. We know that 46 is most likely male, given that when Therapist 4 asks 46 what they like to do, the first thing they ask about is sports. When being asked about encrypted communications, which seem manipulative in nature as well, the therapist says, quote, "Well, the texts say it looked to them like it was an attempt to manipulate you, or maybe to lure you somewhere." This is the same language used when educating kids about predators and online safety. So, could it be Gregory? I mean, my opinion, it seems like it, and if you want more of a breakdown on this theory, go check out the Is Gregory Client 46 theory on the channel. It's up in the iCard, whichever corner that is. In at 4, elevator music. The elevator music that plays when you're, well, in an elevator in Security Breach was definitely familiar the first time I heard it. However, it took me a while to realize that it was actually the music that plays during the final ending sections of FNAF 6. Like the part after Henry's speech and then hand unit says like, "Congratulations on surviving." Yeah, the music that plays behind that is the music playing in the elevator, which was already a hint about what's going on below the Pizzaplex even before we knew that that was an ending, which is freaking nuts. The foreshadowing and the references there are actually insane. I love that this was an Easter egg, and honestly, I made this list strictly so I could talk about this point. It's great, I love it. I don't really have anything else to say. I mean, the elevator music is the ending music from FNAF 6. That's it. That's the thing you missed. Or maybe you didn't. Getting close to the end in at number 3, Vanny's Effect. Now, Client 46, or this kid, is known for breaking into the Pizzaplex, as we learned through the therapy CDs that you can find at the end of the game. The ones involving Client 46 are certainly intended to be Gregory, and every time he ends up getting caught on camera or by technicians or someone working there. Enough times to actually bring it up to the therapist, who then brings it up with Gregory. And speaking of which, this is totally 100% breaking and entering, and he should be charged if he wasn't under 12. And actually could be proven, but despite a few witnesses, the camera shots never actually get him, probably due to Vanny, since the cameras are distorted when talking to something with bunny ears. I originally thought that this distortion would be Gregory being a robot, however it was pointed out to me in the comments of the Gregory's Client 46 video that the distortion is definitely due to Vanny, which only enhances the confusion as to why Gregory has this effect in his eyes when Vanny gets so close. And is it Afton's programming that does it, or is it something else with Vanny that does it? God, I hate this. Penultimately, in at number 2, Vanessa's ice cream. In the best ending, there are quite a few confusing moments. The most confusing one, for me at least, is the idea that Gregory would go get ice cream with Vanessa once she's done trying to kill him. Okay? Why would you do that? She's been trying to murder you for 6 hours! Some seem to think that it's because they're related, or representing the dead Afton kids. And thanks to MatPat, there is a little more evidence to the latter. The ice cream that Vanessa gets while on the hill is very reminiscent of the ice cream cone that lured Elizabeth into Baby's arm, or grabbing, or scooping range, however you want to say it, okay? The cone with the tall soft serve on top looks a lot like the cone with the tall soft serve that Baby presented to Elizabeth in order to lure her closer and then subsequently kill her. Is that evidence or just a coincidence? No idea whatsoever. I can't tell what's a coincidence and what's not anymore. Goddamn. And finally, in at number 1, Freddy Popsicle. On the topic of hidden details in the best ending, Vanessa isn't the only one with a potentially symbolic dessert option in her murderous little hands. Again, thanks to MatPat for pointing this out, Gregory also has a popsicle, a Freddy Popsicle to be exact. And yes, I said murderous little hands because Gregory straight up kills Vanny in the Phaser Blast ending, so chill. It's like one of those SpongeBob popsicles that never looks right, but instead this time it's Freddy Fazbear. And the lighting makes it look very yellow in color, as if it was a reference to a certain yellow bear that could have had something to do with Crying Child's death. If this was meant to be Crying Child, this could be a good way of indicating that, but not only is it good, but it gets better. Gregory has taken a bite out of the head of the popsicle, which could also be a reference as to how he met his unfortunate fate. I think the only way that this could have been clearer and really have like stuck with us and like proved it was if it also started melting and had like tear streaks down his face made out of melted ice cream. Just saying, that would have been like 100% definite at that point. Nobody would have been able to deny it. It would be confirmed.